Hey, welcome everyone. I'm Scott Nunes, trying something different. What I'm doing today is just showing how I've set up my graphics for the Edtech March Madness Extravaganza, essentially, where I've taken a bunch of Edtech tools, 32 of them to be exact, and put them into brackets just like March Madness, and then have you people on social media hop on over to Twitter and vote for your favorite EdTech tools. It's been really cool. Hundreds of entries later, we're condensing. We're going from 32 to 16 today. And so I'm going to share my screen and show you what that looks like. Uh, so here we go. So I'm in Photoshop and I have the results in from day one. I'm still tabulating results from day two. And then I'm going to set everything up for today for day three here. So I'm working with two screens. You're seeing my main screen in front of me here with Edtech March Madness. And then on my other screen that you can't see, I'm going to pull up the initial results for these brackets here on the right side. So I've been getting a lot of questions like, hey, how did you do that? And like, you know what? It'd be cool for some people to see how I set this up if you want to do your own. It's been a lot of fun so far. I totally stole the idea from Kyle Nemus. So shout out to Kyle Nemus and his awesome tool, Classroom Q. So check that out. Had a blast with his bracket, and I thought, you know what? There's still time in March, right? Let me do my own. There were some tools that he didn't have, and I thought, man, what? Why don't I like go a step further and have more tools? So, shout out to Michael Drezick. I figured out, thanks to him, that you can only put so many voting polls in succession on Twitter. So there is a limit. So initially I thought, okay, I'll roll out all 32 on day one, and that couldn't happen. So right away I had to adjust things on the fly and figure out how I was going to do everything. So I had to do 16 one day, 16 another day, and then today I can do 16. So I'm going to condense the 32 to 16. So let's look at these results. So here I can drag these over real quick so you can see these. So here are those results. We have Flipgrid over Jamboard, Microsoft EDU over Fortnite Creative, both great tools. Shout out to Steve Isaacs, who's a master in both. And then we have Bunsey over Genially, both great tools. That was a tough one. And then Nearpod etches ahead over Pear Deck, both great tools. I know that was a tough one. Socrative over Insert Learning. And then we have Formative over Edge Elastic. And this next one was a huge surprise to me. Cami over OneNote. Like, wow, that's huge. And I'm wondering why that's the case. Maybe all the Google folks kind of jumped in and picked Cami. Both are great tools and they are different enough. I just really like OneNote. Cami's really great, but OneNote's like, a non-replaceable tool, I feel like. And so it was neat to see that one emerge. And then kind of our odd one, people asked me about this one, like, why Book Creator with Seesaw? Well, in the preliminary kind of results, when I was asking people on Twitter, which tools do you want to see? I already had a list, and I had LMSs on there. I had Schoology, Canvas, Seesaw, and Google Classroom. And I thought, okay, Canvas is kind of like a content creation tool / content management system, kind of like Google Classroom's a content management system. So I was going to have those battle it out, but then nobody really seemed interested in the LMSs. They wanted more content creation tools, but I still had votes for Seesaw and I had votes for Book Creator. I knew I wanted that one. And so I just decided to approach it from the content creation source. So I'm going to go ahead and move this and go back to the screen here. Okay, so in a separate folder, I've gone ahead and collected all of these logos already, and essentially I'm just going to drag them from my side screen over to the main screen, which is in front of me. So if you see me looking off to the side, I have another screen over here. So I'm looking at that Flipgrid mashup, and I'm just going to drag that over. Having used this tool for a long time now, I really like how you can just do this. You used to have to go and have to hit insert image, or at least that's the way I did it back in the day, 10, 15 years ago. So it's great that I don't have to do that anymore, which one thing I'm going to do, I'm just going to do a save as. Yeah, let's place this file before doing save as. And I'm just going to save a second copy there. That way I'm not overwriting the first one there. That'll kind of help me out. So this is going to be a really interesting, whoa. Gotta love Control Z, right? This nice little matchup here with Flipgrid in Minecraft. And as you can see, these aren't perfect. If I wanted to line things up perfect, I could hold down Control and plus, and then navigate over and really line these things up to get them a little more precise. There we go. And it's not perfect over here on the left side, but I'm zoomed in a bit. When I zoom out, can't tell. If I were being a perfectionist, I would go in and fix that. One other thing I noticed from Kyle's board and this board, I think he nailed the sweet spot. You can see the company logos and the graphics much more clearly on his graphics. So that was something I really learned. Like, I like having more choices. But in terms of being able to share and see everything very clearly, his layout with just doing 16 companies or tools, I think, is a little bit better. So, hey, sometimes we learn. Next up, we have Bunsey for the win. Shout out to Bunsey. Both are cool tools. I just started playing with Genially. Shout out to Kathy Krasnowski and my buddy Manny, my buddy Seth. I was in on a webinar with all three of them, and Felly was there too. I think, no, Felly wasn't there. Sorry, somebody else. I can't remember the speaker. A gal from a different country was sharing out all the ways that they're using Genially. So I became a huge fan, and they have some great things. Kathy Krasnowski has her own March Madness right now with Flipgrid. Very cool. I'm throwing Nearpod in here. Been a long time Nearpod fan. Let's see. Oh, I remember what I did with this one. So this one's going to be a little messed up. I started out making these graphics in Adobe Spark, and I had never hit the limit before, but there's a limit of 16 images in Adobe Spark. So that was another thing. I really like Adobe Spark. I feel like for quick things, it's really nice. Sometimes I get a little lost in the menus and the features of Photoshop. So for quick things, simple graphics, if I'm not designing something super complex, that's my go-to. But I had to kind of go out. Another thing I could do, because once I place this, I won't be able to resize this and crop this. If anybody knows, let me know in the chat how I can crop this add-in. I'm kind of blinking right now. Maybe I need some more coffee here. Shout out, by the way, to Alice Killer for this pretty sweet mug. That's my alarm telling me to hurry up before I got to get to the real work. So what I could do is I could just use the slice tool and grab this, copy that slice, and then paste it over here. But I'm just going to leave it for sake of time. And then we have Socrative winning, really cool tool. My buddy Matthew Ketchum from the TNT Edtech podcast turned me on to this tool maybe 3-4 years ago. Who knows? Yeah, I think 4 years ago is when I started really using this tool. See, it likes to kind of lock into place. It's a little tricky to get that sometimes. I'm just going to use my down arrow. Get it down. I'll show a little bit of that green, kind of frame it a little bit. Yeah, really cool tool. I really saw this tool come alive for me with Edu Protocols at a presentation with John Carippo. I can't remember if it was a digital presentation or in person. Oop, Edulastic did not win, my bad. It was Formative. Got excited. I really like Edulastic. I like using Edulastic for their questions and then taking some of those questions into Quizalize and setting up kind of like a SBAC style questioning system. So take these SBAC questions from Edulastic, bring them over to Quizalize, have it be like, if you choose this option, you move on to this. So let's say a student gets 80% or above, they get a harder question. If they get like an 80 to a 50, they kind of get a question at that same level. And if they get something that would be equivalent to like 50 or below, like a lower level answer, that shows that they haven't mastered that skill or that idea or concept, then I can either send them to a video, depending on the type of questions I'm asking. If I'm asking SBAC style questions, I'll send them to an easier set of question banks. So really cool. And then I'll house all of that in Schoology, especially if I'm doing this for like a novel review. So when I was in the ELA classroom, then I could have this exam kind of vary. It was really nice, very cool. And I think things are coming along now to where you really won't have to do that. And Schoology's question bank, I think by next fall is really going to step it up. So shout out to Cami. If you're listening, Cami, trying to be a Cami hero over here. My buddy Steve Martinez, shout out to Steve with Modesto City Schools. Awesome. He's a Cami hero, doing a lot of cool stuff with gamification right now. Check him out. If you don't know Steve, he's not on Twitter, but he's on Facebook. So if you're on Facebook, follow Steve. He's doing some really cool things with gamification, with Cami. He was doing a bunch of stuff with OneNote too. I'll have to ask him which he'll pick. Actually, I already know. He says Cami. So maybe I should have gone to him first on that one. And then I forgot the results here between Book Creator and Seesaw. So I'm going to pull those up. Seesaw for the win. Okay, so I just got to grab that graphic. If I can find it. There we go. So pretty simple, a little tedious. If you have suggestions, like a way to do this better, let me know. Pretty time consuming for what it is, right? So if you have a better workflow, let me know. And so I have this graphic. I'm just going to make sure I'm saving it, and then I'm going to hit export, and I'm going to do a quick export as a PNG. Just throw it in my my downloads here, and I'm seeing a picture here of Dave Schmittou. So shout out to him and Teach Better. I was in a principal kind of get together last night. That was really cool. Jumped in just right at the end, but really good community that Jeff Gargis and Ray Heward and Chad and Tiffany have built over at Teach Better. So if you're looking for some additional community, you're feeling kind of stuck, you're hearing words like student engagement, learning pause, right? And your admin are maybe really coming down on you. Check out the grid method, switch it up a little bit. It's pretty cool. I'll be honest, I haven't had a chance to use it in the classroom. Well, because I've switched roles, but from what I hear, it is legit. So you might be using a different framework. If you're using something different, let me know if something else is really working for you. I'd love to know. I know in the classroom, I used a lot of blended learning, and I'm so thankful to Catlin Tucker for that, because I felt like my students, when we transitioned from traditional face-to-face learning to distance learning, were very well prepared in terms of Edtech and being able to navigate in and out of programs, in and out of the LMS that we use, Schoology. They were very ready for that. So gave myself a pat on the back for having them actively engage in the LMS, and I hope that's something that doesn't go away. I'm standing firm that it's a 21st century skill that our students need. I'm looking for a little Camtasia icon. So I already have this little promo here, so I'll play it real quick. There's no sound. So this graphic right here, I just took the brackets and then I used the animation tool in Adobe Spark. Let's see if I have Spark open. I do, but I'll have to re-log in here. But essentially, I put that in from Spark, use the transitions here in Camtasia. You can see I added in the graphic, and then this is from day 2, and I just scrolled and added in this graphic from Adobe Spark. So here's Adobe Spark. What I'm talking about right here is on the right-hand side, these animations you can kind of switch up. So I did a color shuffle, but you could do a typewriter. And I just kind of play around with these to see what I like. And this isn't something I created. This is one of their cool templates. I really like the color fade options or color shuffle options, and I like the fade options. So usually when I'm doing a podcast promo, I'll use one of these fade options to where it maybe shows initially like the picture of me and the guest, or my logo and a picture of the guest. And then it'll start out with like, TNT in bold. And then it'll show all the details. Like, for example, last night, TNT Edtech podcast, and then boom, with Jamie Donnelly. The only thing I wish is you could choose certain elements to animate or not animate, and you could choose kind of how long to animate for and when they kind of animate. So like you could order them and have some more customization. So you really have to kind of just play with it, and you're at the mercy of the AI here that operates on the back end with this feature. Okay, so essentially what I need to update today, I need to swap out this day 2 graphic, which I have right here in my timeline, and swap it out for a day 3 graphic. So I'm going over to my graphics. I've already made a day 3 one. I'm just going to match those up, double checking which kind of transition I have. So I'm going to come to this, go over to my transitions, locate the gradient wipe, and apply that. And this one is a fade. So I'm going to come over here to fade and then shrink it down. And then gonna ditch this guy, move this guy down, play it back, and make sure it works. And then what I'll do is, I can't do it while I'm recording this video, but I'm just going to go back into Photoshop and record the new brackets here, and then add this graphic right here on top of everything. So that's how I'm creating the graphics for this Edtech March Madness Extravaganza. If you have any questions, you want to do something similar, just let me know. I'm more than happy to share anything that I have regarding this. And thanks for tuning in. Once again, I'm Scott Nunes. You could follow me on social media at Mr. Nunes Teach. Thank you, everyone. Take care and have a great morning.